for the Lord your God is bringing you into a good land. Shalom, Israel. A hearty shalom to you. Jeffrey Seif here, and who are you?
I'm your good friend, Ken Berg. How could you forget?
Listen.
We have traveled to Israel together so many times, I've lost track. How many times do you think it's been?
Just shy of 50.
Yeah. And you know what? This guy is great. Every time I've gone with him, he has been amazing. I mean, I would ask him to climb the mountain to get a better perspective on it. He climbed the mountain. How high should I go? Okay, whatever it would take, he would do it. He's a real trooper. He really is.
So Ken's kind, and he's made more television in Israel than most men. More than anyone, perhaps, to tell you the truth. And I'll tell you, Ken is the greatest of the great. His dad was the first Assemblies of God chaplain in World War II. Ken's brother, his dad's son, of course, became a famous theologian. But you had a hankering for visuals, and you studied visuals and art, and you became a television producer. And here we are.
I did. You know, one thing led to another. Way back when I started with Zola Levitt.
Yep.
And slowly you became part of that program. And then it became Our Jewish Roots.
Yep.
And again, we traveled to Israel so many times together. And it's just a joy to be working with you again. And I enjoyed this time working with Barri, your wife, on this recent Shalom Israel series, which most of you have already seen, but we're repackaging it a little bit to include kind of background from people who were on the tour, such as myself and Carol Edwards and others like that, and to give their own personal perspective of that particular program.
And I'll tell you why I think that's important too, because I think we're evolving beyond the world of heroes, and there are unsung heroes. Truth be known, they're people we look up to because we see a television camera pointing at them or they stand on a stage. But behind every one of them, there's just a million worker bees that make it all happen. And you're taking a look into the beehive to see who's making the honey.
Well, to include the people that are behind the scenes is Clayton Herring. He's right behind the cell phone we're using right now. My cell phone, which I shot all of the Shalom Israel with on location. I bring it back, and then Clayton Herring, thankfully, has the talents and the giftedness to be able to put it together, make sense of it.
And he and the crew used to schlep around these big $50,000 cameras and all this stuff, and now it's just you can get a 5-minute clip in an iPhone, and it looks pretty darn good.
It's amazing.
Yes.
So this last trip was very eye-opening to me. Again, having been on tours many times before, but never experiencing the charity mission like this particular tour has. And your wife Barri has led this how many times?
A lot. I don't know exactly.
Many times. So it was a joy to be with her. And, to see the expressions on people's faces as they receive the gifts of the IDF, kids in hospitals, Holocaust survivors. Wow, it did things to my heart just to see that.
It's a good point. It's the human touch. You've gone over there. You've interviewed. You put your camera in the face of prime ministers, Bibi Netanyahu and others, and presidents and ambassadors and Bible teachers. But now you're just looking at the faces of people that receive some kindness in Yeshua's name. And it's a little different. It's the worker bee world, not the celebrity world.
And it is so rewarding. And not only to the people receiving the gifts, but to those who are involved in giving.
Yes, indeed.
That's what it's all about. Mm-hmm. So in this first go-round, this redo on Shalom Israel, we're going to include Carol Edwards, who has this amazing God-given ability to create blankets out of scrap materials that she's collected over the years and to make these amazing stuffed bears. So we'll go to that now as an interview with Barri.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Well, I've always had a love for Israel, and I always watched a lot of the teachings and a lot of just on TV. My husband and I both loved going to Israel before, and we always wanted to go back, but he wasn't able to. And this is my chance to go. And the only thing that was holding me back was the money and the cost of it all. But it's a lot less than what I thought. And it was a lot less than what we paid years ago. But I do love Israel, and God tells us to honor them. God tells us to listen to them, and God tells us to follow them. And I love the Jewish people. I thought one thing that I can do is to make some blankets for them to have. I always liked the Linus look of a child hanging on to their blanket. All my children and all my grandchildren have done that, and then usually they're blankets that I made. And I think that was always special to me because they had part of me with them. But I kept saying, what can I do? And the Lord just kept saying, you can sew. You can sew.
Yeah.
Instead of teaching sewing, then I ended up sewing a lot of it.
I asked Carol if there were those, even family members, who were trying to persuade her not to go to Israel.
Well, not persuade me, but they want to make sure I'm going in knowing what's happening.
Sure.
And I said, I'm not afraid. And I said, there's still people over there in such need.
Yes.
Young kids that just breaks my heart, and young mothers, and people that have lost everything, and people who have lost a loved one. There's a lot of needs, and that's what I'd like to go. And I have been on several mission trips, but not like this, not going into a unrest in the area.
Yeah, honey, people used to think that if someone was serving the Lord, they need to become a monk or a nun or something. But with the Protestant Reformation, all that changed. The thinking was that all vocations are sacred. Individuals are gifted to do different things. And what's important is that we use our gift. Carol, it seems to me, is an excellent example of that.
She uses her sewing machine to bless others.
Yes.
At times she uses it for alterations, but she also shares with us about how she has made these wonderful creations. She even saves material and then puts together these wonderful teddy bears and blankets.
Well, it's really quite simple when you're making just blankets or even doing quilting. I did not quilt all these, but I did, make the blankets out of them. And one side's a real soft side, and then the other side is, it kind of gives it the body of the blanket. But I just went with a yard on 36 inches by 36 inches, and just about all fabrics give you that wide, you can open them up, and then I just matched the colors the way I thought I could. And I have so many that was easy to do.
Carol's husband died after a bout with cancer, and she's a widow. And she was prompted by the Lord to begin sewing many years ago. I asked her how it all came about.
Well, in one of my crying prayers, I kept saying, Lord, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I verbally feel like I heard him speak to me saying, you're going to sew. And it just exploded. I had Dallas Morning News come and do an article on me and put me on the cover. And then the little magazine that's around here, she came and did a feature, and people were just calling.
As much as everyone loves Carol blankets, really her stuffed animals or stuffed bears are the ones that are really adored.
This is a cutie. He is a cutie. And I made something out of this fabric, and it's really got 4 different pieces of fabric on it, and it was just scraps. And I have not made this out of this soft baby fabric. And I thought, well, I'm going to make one to see how it goes. And I think he turned out pretty cute. They're fun to make. They're easy to make. They're harder to stuff than they are, because I want them to be squishy.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll get them hard, and then I got to take the stuff out and do something else with it and kind of bring it down. And then I had another one that's going to be this color.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that is so cute. Oh my goodness.
This was already quilted, and so these were just scraps that I had of something else that I had made, and I thought that's just right for that. I put him in scraps, and then he came in scraps real good too, because that was And it was actually something that I made for somebody else. It was a couple of pillows. Well, I hope it is not my last trip, because I would love to go every time.
Yes.
Every time.
Well, I missed this trip, baby. It was all yours.
Well, you know, a lot of people bring back stuff to Israel, but we're the only group that I know of that brings so much stuff back that comes back almost empty. And so Carol, with her creative sewing ability, with the blankets and the bears that were just adorable, and even the way she makes sure that they are safety eyeballs for the little stuffed bears. Not only she contributed, but several others did in different cities around the country. There was a large contingency of people that were going to come from Atlanta. We were supposed to have a group of 20, but these are unusual times. And 48 hours before we were to leave on Wednesday, there was notice given by Air Canada and Lufthansa, God bless them, I understand, and they canceled the flights to Tel Aviv. So 12 of our group could not come. And those 12 probably had between them about 25 suitcases of aid and gifts and blessings for those in Israel, and handmade items as well from you. And so us 8, our small little group, flying only on LL. And we're so grateful to LL. They're very safe. Their pilots are former Israel Air Force pilots. The planes are equipped with anti-missile detectors. Thank God we never even came across any of that. But we got to go. One of the greatest sights was landing right at dusk into Ben Gurion Airport. And it was just such a blessing. The journey began. So not only did Carol have her items, but we had items. We still brought about 25 suitcases, of which our charity does pay the overage, the luggage fees. And so there's one young lady, Wendy Hatton, who you'll be seeing here in a few minutes, that made sure that people, well, she collected socks for the IDF, T-shirts, some handmade items.
IDF, Israeli Defense Forces.
Thank you.
The Army.
Yes. And they have a big need right now. And so even with T-shirts and socks, which we equip them with. So you're going to hear from Wendy. And we have people from both sides of the continent, from the country, from North Carolina, and Wendy's from Portland, Oregon, and places in between. So hope you enjoy learning more about Wendy's journey to Israel with us.
Well, I had heard about it through Ruth, my sister-in-law. She's gone with you several times, and she lives in Dallas. And I was interested then, and I'd been to Israel 3 times already, but on tour, or 2 times, I guess, at tours and stuff. So I didn't really do any kind of charity or mission work with that. And so I kind of felt like, as much as I travel, I want them all to be mission trips. You know what I mean? Like, you're going somewhere, you want to do something. You don't want to just be there, right? You want to do something. So that's what, when she invited me to go, she wanted us 3 to go as sister-in-laws. And, I really loved it. And I think I've always, had a heart for the Israeli people, but it really opened my eyes to more of that, and especially with the war going on, the needs and how persecuted they have been and how hard that is.
Our flight to Israel was a pleasant one, as usual. And what's special is that there are many religious people on the plane, and it's very nice to see the Bible being read, especially in the middle of the night, especially if it's in Hebrew. Once on the ground in Israel, Wendy and Sarah grinned ear to ear, and Sarah was so elated because she hadn't been there in 50 years. They both were excited to take that extended walk through Ben Gurion Airport. We are in the airport at Tel Aviv, and for some, we are home. There it is. Yippee, yay. Carol's suitcase has arrived. Her suitcase of love and all of her goodies.
Those bags are filled with goodies that people send who watch this program. They care to share, like Carol and others. They make gifts, pack them, and it's such a thrill to be there with those bags in Israel. ready to go, ready to get to work for the Lord. So many people do so many things to bring all this together to share the love of God in Israel. Yes.
Well, I always like to say that it's your gifts, your donations, your care, your prayers is what gets us there. And we are your emissaries, and we are emissaries of the Lord.
You know,
So
we can always use a buck, and thank you for those who share those dollars, but share teddy bears too, and crafts and what have you. And the Lord gets a lot of utility out of those.
We're excited for you to join us in the future shows because you'll get to see the smiles. You've seen it all from our end, but wait till you see on the receiving end. It'll bless your heart.
Yes, and so it is. Shalom, Israel. Thank you for partnering with us to bring peace to Israel.